what is the reason for the risk of repeat concussion, and does the risk reduce with the proper rehabilitation with a musculoskeletal injury?
Yeah, those are really great questions, and they are not completely understood, but I think we are starting to make a dent in terms of understanding that. And I think that you want to look at a concussion and then sort of, your risk for another concussion after the concussion as like a function of time, right? So if you like have a concussion today and you immediately go back into a game, later today or playing a game tomorrow, we've already learned that basically you're really not recovered yet at all, right? And most likely. And from that standpoint, that means your risk is really sky high in terms of that, because all of your functions are off. So many multiple brain functions, muscular, neuromuscular coordination function, reaction time, reflex time, et cetera. And so I think from that standpoint, your risk of concussion right after having a concussion is really high. And then as time goes, and your time goes forward, your risk probably does decrease. And that probably correlates with recovery and how much you're recovered. From the perspective of, at least in sports medicine, what has been great is that we've been trying to figure out how can you tell if someone's recovered? And that ends up being another big question as well. But absolutely, the whole process of having time, making sure that your athlete goes through different steps where they hit different benchmarks in terms of tolerating physical activity, musculoskeletal activity, sports training, et cetera, before they go back to play, actually decreases their risk of concussion. And I would have you look at Mike McCrae's article comparing NCAA football players from the 90s, their study in the 90s, to the study from the CARE Consortium, which we were part of at Penn, that were football players in the 2010s, that with the return to play process in the 90s, they didn't have that. Those athletes had a repeat concussion, like on average, within 10 days. Whereas if you went through the return to play protocol and actually returned after that, you actually had an average repeat concussion time of 40 days, which means you're sort of more in the range of, okay, this is a new injury and not just another injury on top of an injury that wasn't fully recovered. And then I think in terms of the whole issue of like musculoskeletal injury, which we know is you're at increased risk for after concussion, from all the great work that's shown that you can have, increased, lower extremity injuries, et cetera, that probably is related to a vestibular or vestibulospinal or musculoskeletal coordination problem that's not recovered from your concussion yet. And David Howell just came out with a paper that showed that if you did a physical therapy program, it decreased your risk.